This is working great, Lee.
Let's see. Let's see.
Yeah, it's working. Mm. Hello, everyone. So, there we go. Get used to this. A little bit new setup. And this is Brother Lee Mudway, also with GPMS. And some of you should at least know Lee. And if not, you know him now.
Hello.
Yeah, so with GPMS, you hear I on this timeline speaking about it, a lot lately, and also some of you seen Lee, and it's making considerable movements forward. So GPMS is the global people's monetary system and simplified divine law. So, having said this, Lee, do you wish in we believe now we got it down into one sentence what GPMS is right now. So one's just beginning to get into it to know what it is. Lee,
It's taken a
please
while.
oblige.
It's taken a while to get the one sentence. So this came in yesterday, really just to simplify GPMS as an overview as a people's movement of change via a worldwide referendum to implement a new all-inclusive system. That's as simple as we can make the outline of what GPMS is. A people's movement of change via a worldwide referendum, a vote. So the people vote to implement a new all-inclusive system as opposed to what was. And I'm going to pass it back over to you, brother, for that, because that's the
Thank
simple
you.
part of
Yeah,
this
yeah.
that we can talk to.
Yeah.
Of course, then we can get into the what actually it is.
Well, exactly. I'm going to make a true statement here. Uh, with the present world leaders, if you will, and worldwide, it's been an absolute total mess. Uh, Wealth disparity, inequality, disharmony, misery, and all of this. The time has come that is no longer acceptable. Humanity is in abundance, a beautiful planet, everything is here. And it's no longer acceptable for ones to be in great dire straits, great stress, misery, and, the compounding deaths of the impoverished ones every day. These sort of things are inhumane. So, having said that, it's obvious, that the existing old world leaders they have done a bad job. So, now let's look at the brighter side of this. There are us of higher consciousness and also divine ones that has all of the skill sets, all of the knowledge for a simplified, all inclusive system for humanity. And the beauty about this, if you will, the governments and what have you, is less than 1%. The people are the 99%. So, this all inclusive divine plan, but also a logical, sensible plan that you don't even need to believe in God or what have you. I mean, it's complete logic and common sense that the 99% of the people do want this, and it is taking them into the least a humane existence. Do you wish to add anything,
Yeah,
Lee?
this is the existing structure that we're in is uncivilized. We believe it to be civilized, but it's not. It's uncivil. Disparity between those that have and those that haven't is being compounded daily, and this is being brought to the public attention hugely right now. Everything's shooting up, and the need and the lack is very, very evident. A change is coming. Whereas in the past change has been tried to be brought about by the public and has not been accepted by the government structures and those that are owners of the systems of control, it's shown that realistically having a vote within the existing system does not work. The existing system does not allocate for that, even though it says it does. So it makes perfect sense to have a vote outside of that system on a worldwide scale for people to have their voice heard. And that voice is a voice of change. Now, what does that change entail? The existing systems are owned, guarded, shareholdered by every single human soul upon the planet. And effectively, the vote, the referendum that is ongoing, is a shareholder's vote, for want of a better word, if we want to look at it in the corporate mentality. So it's a shareholder's vote because the board of directors existing they've done a particularly good job at what they wanted to do, but not really looking after the benevolent aspects of the administration is what they should be. And they took the government into let's say, a different type of scenario, and the people with it. So the vote that's occurring right now for GPMS is literally to vote off the board of directors and reinstall or reappropriate those systems to benefit and administer to the people's requirements, the people's needs. And that is what the GPMS instrument outlines, alongside the divine natural law and all the rest of this, because legality and common law, again, are used as tools to suppress and oppress. This is not what the people want. So the people by the people choosing to register their voice to change, what they're agreeing to do is to become part shareholders again, guardians of the systems, and use the systems and allocate the systems to benevolently and equally benefit all peoples all over the world mutually. And the voice that's being created by this referendum is the energetic voice of change that is irrevocable, irresistible. And that's ongoing right now. So that's a little bit of an overview of that part of it. Back to you, brother.
Indeed. Thank you, Lee. Yeah, so, having said that, GPMS is just not some ad hoc fly-by-night thing. It is the actual concrete thing that has the structure. It's for the people, as we said, 99% of the population upon the planet to deliver everyone from the misery. So it has complete structure, it has complete organization, meaning that it is complete and it's a definite direction. So there is no, as I said, it's not a speculative thing. It is a real hope, but as Lee and I were collaborating the other day, it's a
actualized. Realized hope realized and actualized into or as of reality. So it brings that to the table. The systems and the structures are all there. There is no ad hoc nature to this. It's just literally the control of those systems just returned. When you vote off a board of directors from a business, the business doesn't fail, it just changes. And that's the kind of way of looking at the systems that are used to oppress right now, could be used to benefit very, very quickly. And all it takes, again, is the choice, which we're talking to.
Indeed, it is absolutely ludicrous and preposterous to look at how one country with one leader has millions and perhaps billions upset. And having said this, that's one leader or 4 or 5 people in one country are abusing the 99%. And it's been happening. What I wish to say, let's use the schoolyard bully, if you will. So let's say you have one bully in a schoolyard, but if all of the rest of the children in the school get together, what's going to happen to that bully? And this is what's occurring with GPMS. So the bully doesn't exist anymore because the bully cannot exist in an environment where the bully is not accepted, not approved, and where ones don't give their power to that bully, if you will, to keep it simple as possible.
That's the beauty of unity. Unity with some unity, the bully hasn't got the separate herd. It's not separated. So
Yeah, and when you look at the bully, you know, it's not humane, it's not right in the
uncivil.
least. Yeah, it's uncivil and savage to terrorize the rest of the children. So you can say the rest of the children are saying enough is enough. We want love, we want peace, we want harmony, we want abundance, we want the prosperity. So when the 99% of the school, if you will, the school children decide that, one bully can do nothing about it. And this is very important. So I know with that, we got the point across. Um, so, Lee, do you have anything to add? I'm going to just look
no,
at some of the
we've
notes.
got this little sheet. Let's keep it online.
Let's
What's
go.
next?
What's happening? Yeah, with GPMS. You know, one thing I will say, we are arranging more meetings, more interviews, informing ones on what GPMS is, and also creating the unity and the collaboration of the higher consciousness leaders that have been prepared for this time upon the planet to take humanity forward. So, meaning everything that has occurred, especially over the last 2 years, was not by chance. And if we look at the last decade or so, all of the sovereign communities, autonomous communities, the ascension, the spiritual communities, everything that's been occurring has been occurring for a reason and for this time. So,
So the bringing together the sovereign communities is foundationally what's ongoing right now, and those that are calling for change, those that have seen through the cracks in the system and realised what's ongoing to whatever degree, to whatever level, and this has been ongoing again for the last 2 years, where many have been educating themselves in alternative thinking, if you like, in the alternative sides. This has brought about an awareness of just how the systems have been used and abused to oppress and suppress the people. This knowledge is not in the few. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is factual, and it's being proven to be factual. It's only being denied right now. It's not. It's undeniable in every other aspect. So as these groups start to realise that a change is inevitable, and once their imaginations start to open up as to what can be, as opposed to what the system will allow them to do, but of course the system's ours, then the unity comes in. And this is right, we're right on the cusp of that, of uniting a lot of these, I feel. And the interviews and the meetings that we're going to be having very shortly outline this, as well as what we're seeing with the resistance. More and more now are accepting that they'll have a look into this, or they'll cajole the idea of this, as opposed to, no, we can't have that. And the answers are getting clearer and clearer and simpler to the old questions, the old fear narrative questions that pop up. How can we have freedom? They won't let us. Yes, they will. And these answers are coming through. So in the collective consciousness, we cut through all of the older fear-based narratives as we're pushing forward for this. So this vanguard movement and this foundational build is very much on its way. And I'd like to take that next on to our brothers and sisters in Thailand. I'm going to jump, maybe I'll jump a little bit further, brother.
go ahead, you're doing fine. I love it.
But what's transpired with Thailand is they've taken the idea, the concept of freedom, absolute abundance, and they ran with it. Now, what they did beautifully, again, was that they did this without kind of asking for direction initially. So they started to create their groups. They realized it, the sovereign status of the Thai people, the beautiful status of, they started to realize, yes, this can be done. We started to speak with the GPMS team Thailand about 4 months ago, there or thereabouts. I think they hit 10,000 consents in around about February. At that time, I can reflect back to the meetings that we had then. It was very much they weren't sure. They loved the idea, but they were directionless, if you like. Subsequent to that, and that's not, I'm using the words loosely. They weren't directionless, but they were looking for direction. Subsequently to that, over the last 8 meetings, so 4 months. We've seen the numbers grow to about 15,000, 16,000 now. But what's transpired over that period is that the groups have joined together. They've set up teams all over Thailand. This is spread out across Thailand. They've got leaders in different areas now. They're collaborating weekly, if not daily, with each other. And they're coming up with their own social manifestos, all from their own cultural and societal needs, be it through seeds, irrigation, be it roads, whatever it is. What they're seeing now is that they can actually imagine the future from their own point of view without the oppression and the suppression that was in before. And this has opened up huge. And it actually transpired yesterday that we sat down and had a little look at the numbers. And between 10,000 and 15,000, there was a paradigm shift. It was a significant change in what they could conceive of and how they were looking at all of this and the administrations they're setting themselves up for. And that 15,000 is really 0.02% of the population of Thailand. That 0.02% has created a fundamental paradigm shift in what the Thai people believe in and what they can conceive of and what they know is coming. 0.02%. Now, we speak to 1.7 billion being the largest voice on the planet. It's the largest number. This was initially when the numbers were being put together. 1.7 billion, we get to phase 2, which is proclamations and everything else. But when we look at 0.02%, which has fundamentally changed the Thai people's narrative, and take that to the 8 billion, 8 billion on the planet, we can bring that down to 1.6 million. 1.6 million being the fundamental paradigm shift, which irrevocably changes the nature of reality for the collective. That 1.7 billion, it seems a long way away. 1.6 million, all of a sudden, is very, very, very close. And as we're seeing with this, as with the Thai groups, the more get involved, the more speak about this, the more that actually believe it, not just think it, believe it, can see it happening. It's going to spread, 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 spread. So just to give those a few of those numbers for those that maybe haven't seen this or heard of it before. Small amount of numbers relatively, 10 to 15,000, working together collaboratively with their imagination and their hearts opened, has created a fundamental shift in the nature of the Thai nation at this point. And that will just keep going as this spreads out. They've got school teachers now teaching the children about GPMS and what they can have as the future. You've got younger children at school that are now enthused about what's going to be and spreading the word through that demographic. As this opens up and it becomes more prevalent, it's inevitable. It's unstoppable, as you can probably tell by the way we're speaking, irresistible and all of these words. Because the need for change is unstoppable, irresistible. It's just how we feel about that change and how we're going to do it. So as we drop the fear narratives, as we drop the reasons why we can't do this and start to unite together, we can see that this can happen very, very, very quickly with not so many people at the base level of this creating that foundational shift.
And it is, thank you, Lee. And it's totally ecstatic and amazing, you know, when Lee and I, we looked at this, you know, yesterday, I believe, we had a meeting with the Thailand group. We had a meeting just, yesterday too, perhaps. And when we looked at the numbers, you know, we were feeling before in our earlier mentions looking at numbers with GPMS, how much it would take to move. We were looking at perhaps 3 or 4% upon the planet, you know, with the herd mentality to shift, which would have been about 240 million. And what Lee mentioned about the 1.7 billion, the reason we used that figure before, because when you had upon the planet 1.7 billion people, then you had just outweighed the population, the biggest population of what's the words?
Biggest population in the country.
is China. You outweighed the population of the biggest country upon the planet. And this meant that you had a priority and dominant voice to go forward with it. However, with these numbers, what we have been looking at, anticipating that you would not see um, culture changing and also a country until perhaps you got up to that figure. As Lee just shared, we are seeing it with a decimal
Point.
0.02
Yeah.
of a population. So there's about 70 million in Thailand, but with only between 10, 14,000, it began to change, create change in their reality, which is significant. So we don't wish to, at this point, what we're saying, why we're so enthused with what has been transpiring, that, yeah, it's happening rapidly. It's already happening before we get to implementation. So we are seated in over 100 countries, and when you look at some of the numbers and play with the math, if you will, we are now, let's say, seeded into, I'd like to say, the majority of the countries, if not very close. But as what Lee said, with the numbers, uh, we are already moving things without a majority. So this is very substantial. So just to go down the list a little bit, also with GPMS, a little bit getting out to what extent in Thailand on a little bit of the radio, perhaps media, in Spain, in the Spanish speaking community, South America, to our present knowledge. This is beginning to come out more. The alternative medias are interested, beginning to be informed, and of course, we've been doing interviews on the alternative media prior, but now where GPMS is taking a more prevalent foothold, if you will, especially on the alternative media, and without saying any names, with what we anticipate upcoming meetings are very important with other leaders that are, let's say, known by many around the world. So we have some good things that are lining up. And of course, everyone does come to the table. So we've been having some small roundtable meetings, if you will. However, we know that that is going to increase very quickly.
So what's been occurring, even though it's, yeah, I'll openly state it, it's taken a little bit longer than maybe we thought it would have been initially or anticipated, is the foundational administration groups are being solidified and cemented inside GPMS. That's pretty much ongoing, and that's still ongoing. So the conventions and the bigger stuff and the bigger things for the public, etc., they'll come. How quickly? They could be next week. We'll see how things transpire early next week with a few of the other meetings we've got. But all of this is allowed the refinement, the knowing of how to cut through all of the stuff, as you said a bit earlier, in the previous year, which has been an interesting evolution, if you say. And I'd like to, at this point, thank all of the others that have jumped on board early doors, all of the other leaders, and all of the others that have put their hands up and that are doing the work as well, spreading the word. The others that are uniting, and they will be working, doing interviews too. And you know who you are. I'm not going to put the names out on here, but thank you so much for all that you're doing as well. Even if it's Rick and I, or Rick that's normally the spokesman, there is so much appreciation for all of the other work that the others are doing too. So I wanted to put that in as well.
Thank you, brother. Yeah. So the consents are consistently raising day by day. When I say the consents, it's the individual's registration of their support, their consent uniting on our website, and this is important. And when I say our website, I'm speaking for the people because it's the people's. It is all of our website where we're collecting the voice. And this voice is very important. It's why we're doing it this way for the new system, because we're coming in, we're collecting the voice of the people to support this system. And with this way, it is solidified. This is why we say this is not a hope. This is hope being actualized as we keep building the voice. And it's inevitable with the template, the simple template of the new society, the new system. It's all inclusive for all of humanity. If you look at that on our comparison of old versus new page, it becomes very succinct. It becomes very clear and logically and sensibly why one would choose what GPMS is, because it's all inclusive for everyone. Now, having said this, every child's voice is counted as a vote, the same as mine and yours. And this is significant. Under the age of 18 worldwide, you have approximately 2 billion children that rightfully so have a say in their future. And every one of their voices are counted in this. If they're a second old, their parents are the rightful guardians, can say, yes, I'm speaking for my child, and that is lawful, and that is rightfully so to do as the guardians of the child. So having said that, all children's voices count, and it is important as well that they do let's say at least get registered as well, get in there. And there's energetic things that also occur because GPMS is a divine instrument, and what it is you have very important divine energies. This is supported divinely by Creator or what have you for all peoples upon the planet. So one thing we do not do is discriminate against any beliefs or religions. This is all of the people coming together with the one common goal to do what is morally and ethically correct, and that is all inclusive for everyone. So I wish to make that clear.
Just wish to quell a couple of questions that came up yesterday about currency and the use of currency and etc., how it has been used. GPMS talks to the intrinsic value of the individual, not their weight in gold, not their weight in commodity, not their weight in what external value can be placed upon them, but their intrinsic value. So everybody's intrinsic value is equal. This is what GPMS talks to. So it's when the voice is collected, what the people are choosing to do is to actualize their intrinsic value on an individual basis, but together. So everybody has an equal share of the abundance because it's internal that you're paying yourself. You're actually releasing your own intrinsic value. It's not the system giving it you. You're releasing it and choosing to. In an abundant in an abundant nature, there is I'm not even going to talk about controls at this point in time. There's a few things that popped up yesterday about giving away your sovereignty and your free will into this currency system. It's not that. This is putting the value back in and empowering the individuals. This is the choice, alongside other things. I just wanted to put that in there for this point. The intrinsic value is where GPMS sits, not your weight in gold, commodity, or shiny things.
Thank you, Lee. And yeah, perhaps to expand a little bit upon that, this is so important. Having said this, this is how we just create unlimited money. And if we take the U.S., for example, they have been notorious at creating money out of thin air. So we have the full ability as a whole, united people worldwide, the majority, to do the same thing. But what Lee is speaking about, we are basing the value, and we are putting the worth back into every one of you, the individual worth, which is unlimited. And we are creating the money in a good and prudent way versus to what you had now, the control of the money, the control of the gold. So by putting the value intrinsically, none of you can be controlled by money ever again from the outside. So having said this,
Or impoverished.
or impoverished, yeah, this is what we are doing. We are eradicating poverty worldwide instantly upon or even prior to inception with this. And no more, I love to say we're 10 and 15,000 children dying daily around the world because of the control of money that has created lack, the separation and devaluation of currencies, causing misery to all these countries. That is wiped out. That is no more, and it's done instantly.
It doesn't take too much to see how much money is being spent on war and weapons, etc., when other things aren't. There's no money for other things, right? It's you can see, anybody can see that with eyes to see or with eyes that are open, that money is being printed where it's needed to be, and you can see where it's not needed to be and where the governments are not printing the money for, and that's for the benefit and the benevolence of the people, which is exactly what they should be there to do, right? But it doesn't seem to be happening. So this is about a redress of that balance and, let's say, fixing what should have been fixed a long time ago.
Yeah, so we're doing it, and we're going forward with it. And I need to say, Lee and I would not be sitting here tonight speaking the way we do if we did not know that this was guaranteed and concrete. So the thing is to, get on board, feel it, get on board as soon as possible, so that we free and all humanity and put them in a beautiful state of freedom and bliss and happiness. And
one more thing on the rules, and again with the legal structures and as it stands and everything else. Something cropped into a conversation not so long back about rules and regulations in this trade and all of these older concepts in the corporate laws, legalities. And it was a simple thing about we don't need a set of rules to walk into somebody else's house. This is the moral. We know how to behave. It's the system that creates the misbehavior, if you wish, and all the rules the system's brought in and all the regulations to cause all of the pain and the sorrow because the system requires it. We don't, and all we need to do is to choose that we don't. And this is what the referendum is about, to simplify all of these structures to create a place where people can enjoy themselves daily, every day. Work. There's no reason to go to work. You go out to enjoy yourself. You go out to share. You go out to help others, to do what you will. We don't need to call this work anymore and a wage, earning a wage. I've got to earn a wage to pay my bills. All of these things are corporate. They're all inside the corporate structure. They don't exist in the world of man. And so this referendum is purely about people choosing to re-envision society without all the fears of what the government may do or what this, that and the other. If you remember, we vote the government in to look after us, apparently, and that's what we're all taught. So now we're concerned about what they're going to do if we don't obey them. Come on. So as we start to think about this and open it up, you can see the sensibility and the moral and ethical reasoning, regardless of what depravity may have happened in the past. We don't need to redress that. We can just create the new from it and let it go. And that would be my takeaway to anybody. Stop fighting what was. Start thinking about what will be and get on board with that. And that releases all of that angst and all of that pressure and all of that stress. You don't need to worry about it. Don't worry about what they've got and what money they took off you. You've got all the money on the inside. Your intrinsic value is unlimited. And that's what we will unlock when the voice comes together. And it will.
Perfect, brother. Yeah, and that's so important. And as Lee said, you have that 1% or less. Just take your focus away from fighting that. For their intentions is not to realize your interests and to give anything to you. So the trick, what to do, is just stop fighting if it's illegal voting or whatever it was, because that's part of the system. While you're distracted, wasting years over here on a system that is designed to disempower you, you can be creating the new over here instantly and very quickly.
You can also be in both camps. You can be creating the new whilst still watching that disappear, should you wish to.
Holding up an opposition, yeah,
Yes.
while we're getting the new created, if you will.
Um, just adding to that, one of the beauties of this is, and this is one of the things that people maybe haven't quite put together. We've been having a few chats with people lately where they've got beautiful projects and beautiful ideas ongoing. Well, there's no reason why they can't sit with GPMS too, because GPMS enables them all. It doesn't need the funding from these other people to create these projects. They can still sit there and run their projects and create their projects, because this is the new anyway, and still sit under the GPMS umbrella, knowing that when this comes to inception, there is nothing stopping these projects then. There is no reason to go look for funding or this, that, and the other, or regulations, or certifying yourself with the government structures, or fighting the governments, or having to find an area outside of the legal structures where you can set it up. They won't exist. So if you can get on board and see what this is, then you can still continue doing what you were doing. It's not stopping, it's not taking anything from anybody, it's amplifying and adding to everything.
Now, I'd like to add in with this. There's so much great technology. It's beginning to be released. What was hidden marginally, but very soon as well. There's so much amazing technology that's going to be released to the surface, both ways, uncovered, because all of it or most of it is already here, so that's going to be given to the public, to the people. But also, there is another contingent that is going to be delivered. And having said this, the majority of the population worldwide do at least believe that there is other life out there in the universe. And yes, there is. So there is another, if you will, a galactic component with this. And having said that, I know the majority knows what I'm speaking about. So we're getting very close to that assistance as well. But it's very important. This choice has to be made by the individual. Get your choice registered and become part of this huge unity. And the quicker we get that done, the quicker you're enjoyable. And it is imminent. We need to say that because things are happening very quickly
Irrevocable.
and
Irrevocable.
irrevocable. Yeah. There's no going back to that old. Everything on a high level has been designed in the last 2 years uh, to show everyone to make a choice. Everything was doom and gloom. You didn't know you had a choice until GPMS come, and then it becomes very obvious what the choice is, and that is the reason why a lot of things have been occurring. You could say it's been a spiritual battle, but yes, it is. However, the spiritual battle has already been won, and
This
so
is just manifesting into reality.
yeah.
And the manifestation into reality is backed by the united energies of the people on the planet agreeing and putting their backing to a change of the system. Once that happens, everything changes.
So with this, there is, let's say, good military out there, good police out there. Many of you know about that without us going into it. So you can see as well, we have the sovereign base with the simplified law, which is the foundation. It's basically your unalienable right, your God-given right rights. It's the
Yeah, that's
it's the law with this.
the higher
And
law, the real law,
yeah,
as opposed to the legal.
yeah, and the morals and the ethics that go along with that. So it's all virtuous, if you will. Yeah, to just it's all encompassing for everyone, and let's say it is and will be supported by all the good people in the world, including the good military and the good police. So it's all coming together, if you will, very beautifully. And it's been written to come together. It's been prophesied, it's been written in
And it's
scripture.
happening.
This is the fun thing, yeah. So there is not the doom and gloom. There's actually the upliftment into this beautiful new reality. And, you know, I am so happy and grateful to be able to share this with you all. And I know Lee likewise. And so so it is, we'll keep it short. That's a 40-minute. Rick didn't ramble too much in this one.
What we got left, brother? Any more on there?
Yeah, we pretty well, I believe, got it covered. If you want to scroll, if anyone got a couple quick questions, we could do those. And yeah, anyone got a couple quick questions, and we could answer those if we needed to. Ah,
How did GPMS first reach Thailand?
that's a great question, Henry.
I'm going to say we don't know.
We don't really know, yeah, but it got there. You know, a seed somehow got there and it grew, right?
Same in
And
China,
very
Russia.
rapidly.
It was quite. Let's say it took me aback when I saw quite how far it had gone, with very small numbers. So maybe one or two were in each country, and it was like, well, how did they get there? So I'm going to answer you, Henry, and say I have no idea how it got to Thailand, but it did. And the Thai brothers and sisters are beautiful with
Wow,
it.
yeah, yeah. And you know, having said this, worldwide, as I alluded to, but I'll go a little bit deeper in, you know, over the last decade and even longer, there's been indigenous sovereign groups, autonomous groups. All of these groups have been growing and growing. And when you have these groups all uniting, let's say, and this could happen very quickly in a few weeks or however long it takes, you have a huge voice there. And when you quickly look how when you look at how quickly and how viral GPMS can go, when you look at some countries with only having 40 million perhaps population or 30 million in it, and if you get a voice at 40 million, you know, that is substantial because it is an autonomous nation that has to be recognized worldwide. So I'm saying this because everyone needs to realize the power of the people. And if you look at 40 million together, you know, that is a formidable force when they're backed with the true divine law and all of the people as well. And it has to be recognized and respected by the rest of the world. And the fun of this, it's not an individual country though, because it's all because actually it's not a minority if it's bigger than one existing country. So it has to be fully recognized as well. So, you know, just a couple little things to show you how GPMS is incontestable and nothing can go against it. And that's why it's inevitable.
And so it is.
And so it is. Any more questions, brother? Yeah.
Let's have a look. I don't think so.
No, that's
New
one new
yeah,
comment.
Dragon Line, let's see. What's the website for Ascension Inner Work Tools?
That's another question. That's not, we're speaking about GPMS, or
What was it? Awakening Journals?
yeah, Awakening Journals. Yeah, it's some of the Ascension tools are in there. Real Angels page on Facebook. If you go into some of the teachings, and some of the tools are, I think, also are in there. Also, I put them tools out, whenever, little write-ups on this Facebook page, and also on Telegram. So try some of those. Well,
I think that's good.
this is good. How many did we have viewers on here? Well, these numbers aren't correct, but this is great.
That's fine. Not worried about the viewers. It's out there. It's in the energies. Love and light to you all, guys.
Victory, unity, love and light, much gratitude. And thank you, Lee, for joining. I've been waiting so long so we could do a live together, and finally. Woohoo! Thank you.